How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Good. You know who this is?
Nope.
This is John Filax.
Oh, John Filax, how are you? No, I did not know who you were.
Hold on, okay? Hold on one second.
Okay. You bet.
You got time to talk?
I do.
You mind if I record in public?
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right, Dustin. So, hi, by the way. This is John.
Good to hear. Good to hear from you.
How are you?
Oh, good.
Where are you?
I'm home.
What state? What state?
In Utah. Right smack dab in the middle of Utah.
And are you from Utah?
Yes, I am. Born and raised here in Utah.
And the wife also?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do they call people from Utah? Utahians? Utahskers?
I don't know. Utahnians. I don't know. Utes.
Utes?
Oh, that would be Indian, wouldn't it? That's Indian tribe. The Utes.
Now,
I'm not sure.
Okay, so I don't even know how I stumbled across your channel. Probably because of CPS stuff.
Yeah.
CPS is in my opinion, unconstitutional bureaucracy. They have no business or authority meddling with people's families, and that's why I wanted to call and talk to you.
I'll tell you what, I sure learned a lot from with the, learning about my constitutional rights, and with CPS kind of with them coming over, and then you said you'd want to interview me, and I didn't know who you were, so I thought, okay, I typed in your name, and I've been watching a lot of your stuff, and I really wish I would have watched your content before. I feel like I'm more armed now. So thank you, John, for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just what I've learned through my 2 scores on the earth.
Your trial and errors?
Basically, yeah. I mean, so how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 41.
41?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 42. Okay, so you started a YouTube channel, right? How long ago?
Right. Mm-hmm.
How long ago?
A year ago. Just been doing it for about a year.
And your YouTube channel is based on homesteading, is that right?
Right, homesteading, kind of a self-sufficient kind of living.
Okay.
So.
Is that what homesteading means? Is that what homesteading means? Like your own?
There's a lot of definition of homesteading.
So what would you describe your channel as?
It'd be like homesteading. It'd be kind of like learning how to take care of bees or to farm, gardening and things like that.
Okay.
It's a vlogging style, so it's like a daily thing what I do every day.
Okay.
So so today I'll probably vlog about it's snowing sideways out here, and I'll probably show people what it's like to live. The farm have to take care of your animals in a blizzard, and I'm not feeling well on top of that. So if I'm not feeling well, blizzard, animals don't care about that.
So that's what your blog would be about today?
Yep, that's what my blog would be about today. And yeah.
So how long did you have your channel up? Did you ever have any problems with authorities before this YouTube channel?
No, not even the lowest of problems with authorities.
Nothing. Non-existent.
Nothing. Non-existent. Not at all. And so I believe my problems is because I started to put my life up on YouTube of showing people how to, live self-sufficiently, not having to go to Walmart, how to grow your own food and things like that. And then the first big problem was my compost soil. So I'm selling I have a house here in Joseph. It's for sale. I think it's sold. We're just waiting for the government to shut down the hand so the person can get the money to buy it.
Hold on. So you have a home in town somewhere?
Yes, I have a home in town, and then outside of town I bought a farm, like And so I moved out on that farm. My idea was to live off grid on that farm.
What kind of structure? What kind of infrastructure is on the farm already?
I just pulled a fifth wheel trailer, so we moved into a fifth wheel trailer.
So there's no electricity or plumbing out there?
No, there's no electricity, no plumbing at all.
Okay, all right, go on.
And so that's been becoming an issue as well. But the first issue is compost toilet. And so I've done a lot of research of how to compost your own manure, and can actually if it's done right, it's very safe. It takes a long time, a couple of years to compost it, before you can ever apply it on your vegetables and things like that. Not saying that I would, but if I had to, I could. And I'd probably just throw it out in the field with fertilizer after a couple of years.
Let me cut in here. So I did see a video where two guys claiming to be scientists or professors. What are they claiming to be?
Yeah, they're health scientists.
They were scientists from who? From where?
From the health department.
And the health department, is that the state, county?
It's a government, isn't it? It's the state.
Okay, so these two guys just come to your house unannounced, or they call first, or what?
They come unannounced. The one guy, Zach Kearney, he's the younger guy. He launched on my show. He saw the composting toilet, and he started commenting saying, "Hey, you can't have that in the state of Utah." I commented back and say, "Well, nobody's going to give a shit about that, honestly. Sorry, I probably can't swear, huh? Nobody's going to care about that."
But go on.
No, nobody's going to care about that. And I told them, nobody's going to care. I'm sure there's not a judge in the world that's going to give a shit about a compost toilet. And so I think that pissed him off. And it was like the next day.
So this was a scientist commenting over the internet.
Over the internet on my channel.
Okay.
Right, he watches my channel.
Right.
So I guess. And
he's looking for terrorists like you, who like to grow stuff.
Huh?
He's looking out for terrorists like you and I.
Right.
Right. Go on.
Yeah. And then the next day, I'm at the house there in Joseph. I'm bringing stuff down here to the farm, and the kids are down here at the farm. They called me up and they're like, "Hey, there's a couple of guys here asking questions of where we go to the bathroom at." And that pissed me off like so bad. So immediately I went from like pissed from 0 to 60 now. And so I come flying down here. It's like 2 miles away. I come flying down here. My kids are out there, in front of them. They're talking to my kids. And I have 4 kids, by the way. And 12, 9, 6, and 4. And so they're out there talking to my kids. I show up. I'm like, "What's going on here?" Like, we're concerned where you're going to the bathroom at. I'm like, "Hold on, let me grab my camera." So I got my camera, and then I started filming that. And so there's this that's the start of it. And they're saying that you can't. It's illegal to compost on your own property. It's even illegal to how your great grandparents used to have an outhouse with a hole in the ground. They say it's legal to do that. You can't do that. You have to have.
So what jurisdiction? So what jurisdiction are they claiming under? Like, what your property is within a city limits or something?
County.
So your property is within county limits. Is there anywhere outside of county limits where they don't have jurisdiction, or the same thing would happen everywhere? You think?
The same thing happened everywhere.
Okay, so I saw you telling them that, you're nationally recognized composting toilet that's completely sanitary. They're still telling you that it's illegal in Utah. You can't own a product.
They said I can't own the product. No, I can't even own that. You can't do that.
So are they trying to say that you by force have to buy their service of plumbing and sewer system?
That's what it all boils down to. This is where it all boils down to is follow the money. I've got to. So I called the guy who makes the Nature's Head composting toilet, and I called him and said, "They're telling me I can't even own this in the state of Utah." And he's just like, "That's bullcrap." He's like, "Government owns the plastic. that you buy from the Home Depot, the big yellow tank, the septic tank.
Yeah.
Because the government owns shares in that. Or he's like, so it all goes down to. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So.
Oh, so you think the scientists were lying, basically, and they're coming and they're trying you because of some pissing contest over the internet that started on the internet.
Yeah.
So, okay, how many months was your channel up before that contact?
How many months was my channel up before that contact? Before Nature Said Compost. What do you think? 4 or 5 months? 4 or 5 months, maybe.
Okay, and then tell me what the next encounter with government was after that. Wait. First of all, real quick, what was the resolution? Do you still have the toilet?
Yeah, I do.
You're just ignoring them, basically, right?
No. They've contacted me a whole bunch of times, and I'd say to the point of harassment. But the agreement is that the compost, the manure can't hit the soil, so I can actually throw it in the trash can, put it in the bag, throw it in the trash can, take it to an RV park, or burn it in an incinerator.
Okay.
So as long as it never touches the ground. So I agreed to do that.
All right, good. So the next contact, the next encounter with government was when? How much time has gone by, and what was the contact?
What was the next government contact? Oh no, we had building and zoning. Building and zoning came by like a month later, and but that's not on my channel. But they came by saying that we're living in the trailer. We're like, well, I'm not living in the trailer. We're still living in the house over there in town. And,
right. And you're just camping.
Yeah. We're just camping.
So what? So what? You're not.
Can't do that.
I'm sorry to keep interrupting. So what? They're saying.
No.
Let's say you were living in the camper or whatever it is. What's the problem there? You're not allowed to do that either.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that either. You're not allowed to do that.
Because they said so.
Because it doesn't cost anything. I'm not paying really taxes. It's really extremely cheap to do what I'm doing, and it's pissing them off. So like right now I'm officially living in the trailer, but to do that I had to go in and get a permit, a special permit signed by I call it the Magnificent Seven. It's the council, the county councilman of Seven, who granted me permission. And after then once they
permission
then I
for
have
what?
to pay permission to live in my trailer on my own property.
Oh.
So
okay.
I have to pay them. I had to go and ask them permission, and then I have to pay them to live here on my own property. So how much is that? How much we pay? $20? That's $20.
So you had to get paid permission to live on your own property by a small Congress. Okay, go on.
Right. Yeah. So, and then we're still. So I don't even know if I'll be able to build a house. Or what I wanted to do is sell my house and then build a house here. Meanwhile, live in our trailer while we're doing it. But now they're saying that you have to have commercial power run to your property. And I'm like, well, because it's going to cost $30,000 to run power to my property. I'm like, if I got $30,000, I'll either put it towards
solar,
wind turbines and solar, and make my own money and pay my own self. And I have to pay taxes on that. And so they're saying no. They said that's against the law. You can't do that.
Let me stop you again.
Yeah.
So they're saying you have to, against your will, buy the services of a private company.
Yes, because that's the law.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a law saying you cannot be self-sufficient. Basically, they've made self-sufficiency illegal, and they don't want that idea to catch on. So they're trying to make an example of you. That's what I'm getting so far.
Right. That's exactly it.
So go on. Next encounter.
So that's but they said I can't once it's run to my property, I can have solar power and all that, but I have to have that services ran to my property first. And I can even have it shut off, but I have to pay the $18 a month shut off fee.
Whatever, man. They can't just leave you alone, can they?
No. So the next thing is that then I had the agricultural. I can't say that word. You guys forgive me, John. I'm not very good at
agricultural. I had a hard time. Go ahead.
agriculture. So they apparently I'm a illegal beekeeper. I have beehives, and they're not registered with the state. And
what?
So yeah, you're supposed to register your bees.
You have unregistered honeybees on your own property?
Yes, on my own property. I have yes, I'm sorry. I'm a foul. This is why everybody calls me the outlaw homesteader.
Are you
a lot of people.
Are you holding those bees under threat, duress, and coercion?
No, sir. No, they're free to leave whenever they. I encourage them to leave. The more they leave, the more honey I get.
The bees actually fly to your property voluntarily. Is that correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Right.
Go on.
So I don't have I don't have to register my bees.
Unregistered bees. Oh my God. Oh my God. Go on.
And then they found out. So I did a whole bunch of videos on the bee tree, and so I have this. And this is what actually got me into beekeeping. Was this tree has these bees inside of it, and they says that's illegal to own. You can't have bees in your bee tree, and because I was trying to harvest the honey from the bee tree, and they said you can't have that, and, without harming the bees.
Who's they? Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then because I guess there's a law back in 1897 is that you have to have removable frames in your hive, and the bee tree does not have removable frames. So get this, I got one here.
Oh, hello. Hold on, you're breaking up.
Oh, that's not good.
There you go.
See, I'm good on service.
Go ahead.
Okay, you hear me good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the skep is spelled SKEP, skep, and that's a beehive, and that's also the state symbol on the side of police cars and stuff, and on the state flag has a big picture of the skep. It's with the bee coming out of it. That's even illegal to own. You can't even own one of them in the state of Utah because you can't have removable frames out there. And so, go back to the bee tree. They're saying I got to cut down the bee tree because it doesn't have removable frames. I told them, no, I'm not budging on this one. You have to arrest me, and I'm not going to register my bees either. I refuse to do that. I don't have to register my chickens. I don't have to register my cows, and so.
So what happens? So when you resist like this, aren't they just going to start sending you paperwork through the mail with big red ink on it, threatening you?
No, I haven't got any paperwork. No.
No.
No, I haven't got any. This was just that was just a phone call, and
okay.
That was a phone call with them, and then I haven't got any papers from the health department or the building and zoning, and
okay.
And
so
then,
yes, after the bee situation, where do we go now?
After the bees, then we have DCFS.
That's the one where the DCF guy went to the school?
Yes.
He went to the school first, right?
Yes, he went to the school first.
Okay.
But then I have animal poop in the house and sewage running down the hallways because I believe the only reason why somebody called that one in is because of the composting toilet one.
Okay.
I can't prove it, but I just feel like it. And so that was the accusations. And so then he goes to my 12-year-old son, pulls him out of class, takes him in a room, tells the principal that it's personal, that it can only be him and my son talking one-on-one. And so the principal's like, okay, and locked them in a room together.
That is so sad that a principal doesn't have the wherewithal to say, hold on, pause for 5 minutes here, let's get the parents on the phone. Right?
Right.
No. Here, government agent. Here, black boot. Take him. It's not my kid. Go ahead. So the DHS, whatever he is, DCF agent takes him into a small room.
CPS. A lot of people call them CPS.
Whatever they are, the Nazis, code, whatever they are. They're the worst. They are some of the worst. I don't understand how they have any authority at all. But anyway, They take your kid into a room and tell the principal, is the principal male or female?
Female.
Tells the female principal, we need to be alone. Now, is there a recording of this?
That's the hard part. I'm still not being able to get that. I was going to go today.
I saw a video of you trying to get it once. I saw a video of you trying to get it.
That'd have been my third.
Okay, so
I've been watching you. I want to be a lot better at recording these clowns.
Yes, record everything, dude, and send an audio recorder with your kids. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Any adult starts talking to you, you start recording. That's it. That's how you got to protect yourself nowadays. But anyway, he takes your kid in a room by himself, and what's he start asking him?
So I need my son over here. Wyatt. So
if I understand correctly, your kid wanted to leave and said that he didn't want to answer questions, right? And the guy told him he had to.
Yeah. So yeah, he took him in the room and says, "I need you've got to answer these questions." I think it was more along the lines of that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to sit down and answer these questions. And the upsetting part is these kids are taught to, you know, when an adult talks to you, you speak back. You look him in the eye. You know.
Right.
And so you got to sit down. You got to ask these questions. And I think what was some of the questions? Where do you go to the bathroom at in the house? Or, you know, things like that. Do you have animals go in the bathroom in the house? What do you do if you have an animal put on the floor? And then the talk turned to what do you do when you're scared? Who do you talk to when you get scared? And then about parents, it's like are you able to talk to your parents when you're scared? And then what was the other question? So you can't remember.
Okay. How long ago was that?
That was back in September.
And then from the time he took your son into the room to the time he showed up, same guy showed up in your driveway, right? And that's when you made a video?
Right. Mm-hmm. So, you know, everything I told you took 45 minutes. This is what I want to find out. Is I want to know exactly what took 45 minutes. What kind of conversations were they misleading? Was he leading my son to say things to make me look bad? And I don't mind that if you want to talk to my son, but I think it ought to be recorded, and I think there ought to be another adult in there because I have nothing to hide. I just want to know if he's coercing my son from putting words in his mouth.
I hear you.
It took 45 minutes.
I wouldn't even want him talking to my son, period, much less on recording. I don't want him talking to him at all. I don't care if it's recorded or with another adult. I still don't want him talking.
Right.
Mind your own business.
I'll tell you that story, but it gets worse. It gets more threatening. So, yeah. So the guy comes over to my house.
Was this the same day?
Yeah, it was the same day.
Now, you and him spoke off the record for a minute or two, did you not?
Yeah, we did. We spoke off the record. I didn't. I mean, I got to tell you, I've learned so much about recording since this time. If I had a second, and then I kept turning the camera on and off as I'm recording. Like, I'll turn it off, turn it back on.
What was said before the video?
So he comes up and he's saying, you know, these allegations against you, and I'm like, well, that's bull crap, that's wrong. And then I told him, he says that he wants to come in and look at my house, just make sure the plumbing and everything works. And I told him, no, you don't get to come in here, not without a warrant and all this. And then he's like, well, I could get a warrant, I could do this. And I'm like, well, you could, let's go do it then. And then I says, you know what, just leave. And he's like, this part reminds me of like Columbo. He's like, for Columbo, walks off and goes, oh, and by the way, I recorded your son at school. And I'm like, what, you did? And then he was about to record it. So he was going to play it back to me. And he's coming back to play it to me. His phone rings and goes off. So his phone rings, and then I heard him yelling at somebody saying that they're going to I'm going to take your daughter away from you. It's like, I'm going to see to it, and you don't get your daughter. I'm like, well, this guy's a prick. I can tell by the conversation he's having with whoever's on the phone. I told my wife, I said, go get the camera. I said, I think this is going to get ugly. And so then he comes back. So that's about where I get the camera, and then he gets off the phone. So I'm kind of filming around the car as he's talking on the phone, yelling at somebody, threatening to take their kids from him. And so he gets off the phone, and I'm like, I asked him, I said, "Is you okay with me filming with you?" Yeah, I'm filming with you. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so I did it in the only way I know how to film, in a vlog style. And he's like, whoa, you can't do this. You can't do this. You can't film me.
Why is that?
You can't do that. Yeah.
And that's when he clammed up like a little bee that he is. And then he got in his car and he made a phone call to see if you were allowed to record him. Right? The Attorney General, the Attorney General wouldn't talk to him, so his Attorney General assistant he claimed to have talked to. And he sits in his car, and that I turned off the camera then, and it was like, because it took a long time, like 30 minutes on the phone, and then he gets out. He's like, well, I guess you can film me. No kidding.
And then and then he gives me he gives me a criteria. He's like, okay, you can let me just come in and look through your house, and I'll let you film me. And I'm like, and at the time I should have said something. I should have addressed that at the time. Like, you mean you're going to let me go into my own house and film? Thank you.
Yeah, you see how they think and how they act? Like, listen, I'm your overlord, and here's how things are going to go with your family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's incredible,
then,
man.
I think I'm pretty scared at this point, because I think I actually didn't get really scared. I felt pretty control of the situation, and until I started getting comments like recently, like a couple of months ago. So it's been on the internet for a while. Then it gained traction. And once it gained traction, a lot of people I was getting a lot of comments saying, "Hey, I was 12 years old. I was taken from my family, and this was wrong, and I was abused, and I was raped, and all this." And thousands and thousands and thousands of comments coming in about what crooks they are. And so then I'm like, oh,
hey, Dustin, you broke up.
Things. I'm like, oh, sorry. You there?
So then what? You said, and then you were like,
then I started, searching CPS, and they're so crooked.
Yep.
It goes back to 1997. Bill Clinton signed some sort to place children in foster homes, and that's just opened up a whole dark monster. Is now children has become a multi-billion-dollar industry for the state that you live in.
Yes.
Multi-billion-dollar industry, and so they do not want to stop CPS. This is why a caller can call in. So, John, if I wanted to, I could call CPS on you, and then they'll come and harass you and do all this, and they will not have no consequences for that. And they'll protect me to harass you, because they're really just trying to find someone to give them a key where the children's at. It's like
yep.
I don't know. That's a bad example.
To find probable cause to get another kid in their custody to keep running the racket.
Yep.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. So, since that encounter in your driveway, once you turned on the camera, he didn't want all of a sudden he wasn't Mr. Tough Guy anymore. He basically was like, well, I'm going to leave if you're going to record me, and he leaves, right?
Right.
And then what happens from there?
And then we requested the called grandma request. Grandma requested the report. That takes like 3 months to get back.
Mm-hmm.
We finally we get that back, and then it's just riddled with lies. And so I went in. I talked to the head of the CPS, and she starts to threaten me. She starts saying, "Give me an example. Let's just say there's a sexual that somebody says that you're sexually abusing your daughter. We have the power to keep you separated from your daughter for years, need be, till our investigation's over with." And I'm like, well, I know you're talking about me. And I was really upset about that. And I told her that if it's up to me, you'll never be able to talk to my children, never be able to set foot on my property. And if I saw you on fire outside, I want to pour piss out of my boot to put you out. Because that's what I think of you guys, stealing people's children from you. It's the lowest form of you guys are the lowest form of life. And the report that I have is just evident of it. It's just riddled with lies.
Now you said this to the hold on. You said this to the head of the CPS.
Yeah.
What
And then
is it?
there.
A man or a woman?
A woman.
What's her name?
I don't have her name.
Okay, go on.
So
good for you, by the way.
In the report to her, and I even thanked her and told her that in the report that I said that about her.
You gotta say that. Hey, you gotta say that part over again, sir.
So she says when she spoke to me.
Yes.
You there?
Yeah, go ahead.
She says that when she spoke to me that she said that I said that she's a nice person, and I thanked her for her time. I never did that. I don't think she's a nice person, but it's just little lies like this. But one of the biggest lies here is, and I'll read this to you exactly what this says. Just this little part here. It says, this is talking about my daughter Shaylin, who's 9 years old, and it's a totally different school than my son's school. So this is the inspector says, I attempted to visit with Shaylin Dean at the elementary school in Monroe. The school secretary stated that Mr. and Mrs. Dean had made a visit and that they did not want DCFS to interview any of their children. All that's a lie, by the way. I explained to them the same as the other children. I wish to at least attempt. Shaylin declined to speak with me. So this whole thing was a lie. They never even tried to talk to my daughter, but that's great that. But the problem I have is legally they do have the right to go in and talk to your child if you drop them off at a public school. It's because it's kind of like passing on the baton to them, like giving them the keys to your child and saying, "Oh, now you're the caretaker until I get them back." And
yes, so it sounds like a good reason. It sounds like a good reason not to put kids in public school. Yes,
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Go on.
So with this lie, the whole thing's a lie, but within inside of his own lie, he says that the school secretary told him not to talk to the children, and he says, despite that, I spoke to him. So he's screwed. I turned him into the sheriff's department.
You did turn him in?
I did. I turned him into the sheriff's department, falsifying documentation.
Okay.
And there seems like there's something against a constitutional right that the secretary denied him to talk to my daughter, but he says despite this, I talked to her anyway.
Right.
So now you have the parent and the caretaker both denied him, and he spoke to him anyway.
So that's where you stand right now?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
There?
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you.
I said, is that where you stand right now with everything?
Yeah, that's pretty much where.
And you're still trying to get the recording from when they went to your kids' high school.
Right. I'm probably going to go here.
So you don't have. So they haven't tried to drag you into court or anything. They haven't tried to kidnap your kids yet.
No.
All right, man. Well,
they said that they dismissed it. It's no longer, what is it they called?
Active.
Yeah, they dropped the case.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's because they saw the views and all that. So, like, YouTube popularity. I don't think we like the spotlight on them. Like a cockroach doesn't like light.
That's why you did the exact right thing. You did exactly the right thing by documenting and exposing them. You did the perfect. That's what everyone should do. That's how you fight back. Because that's what they hate the most. And a camera and exposure is the kryptonite to a corrupt government.
I'm learning that. I'm learning that now.
Give your channel, man.
Dustin Dean.
Hold on, you broke up there. Your channel is your name, right? Dustin Dean.
Dustin Dean.
And it's DUSTIN space DEAN, correct?
Correct. That's it.
So you're not going to let them on your property. You've told your kids not to talk to anyone now. and now you're basically in self-defense mode from an unconstitutional bureaucracy known as CPS, DCF, whatever.
Right.
And mind you, people, that this agency we're talking about that's supposed to protect children has been caught trafficking children. They've caught, like, the head of the CPS in Florida was a pedophile. This agency is disgusting, and some of the most disgusting people are the ones that want to work for the agency we're talking about right now.
It's like 90% of them is corrupt. They only help about 10% of the kids that they take. The rest are pretty much just stolen. So they're extremely corrupt. They need to be downsized.
They profit from it.
Right. That's where they went wrong, when they started profiting from it.
All right, so it's Dustin Dean on YouTube. Please subscribe to his channel, support him, leave a comment. I don't know if you have a join button, but if you do, join this thing. I'm John Filax. Dude, I really appreciate you calling me. You have my number. If you have any updates, feel free to call me. Feel free to message me on Messenger. And it was a pleasure, sir.
It was a pleasure talking to you too, buddy.
Hopefully we can keep in touch.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Dean, thank you so much, sir.
Bye.
All right, bye.